Hello everyone, welcome to West Star Tarot. I'm Liz and I'm here today to do a VR to Lisa Papez, Top 10 Tarot 22. So Lisa said that, there doesn't seem to be any real tight guidelines to this, which I love. So it's your top 10 decks. It can be all tarot, all oracle, a mix, whatever. And she doesn't necessarily say what she means by top 10. So are they your most used, your most loved, your most long-standing, the ones that touch your heart the most, whatever. So she leaves that up to us, which I like. I appreciate that. So I actually split it down the middle, and I have 5 tarot and 5 oracle. And I'm going to save my top tarot and my top oracle for last, but all these other 8 decks are not in any particular order. So I thought I would start with the oracle first and then go to tarot. So the first oracle I wanted to talk about is this one. It's called The Lantern, and it's by Angelina Mirabito. She's the creator and the writer of the guidebook, and it's illustrated by Yuli Alejo. I really like the artwork on this deck. So I've had this deck for a while. This is not something that was new to me in 2022, but I sort of came home to this deck in 2022. So I did do a review on my channel of this deck after I got it. And it wasn't all good. And I still have mixed feelings about it, but obviously it's in this video, so I have mainly good feelings about it. So the premise behind this deck is Angelina has added in to Maiden Mother Crone a 4th category or age group called Guardian. And the guardians sit between the mother and the crone group. And I really like that because I feel like it's needed. I know in my women's circle, as we got older and moved we felt like we were moving out of that mother stage, but many of us didn't feel like we were quite ready to be in the crone stage. So we kind of came up with our own 4th stage or extra stage, and we called it Queen, but I quite like Guardian. So there's 44 cards in this deck, 11 cards for each of those 4 categories. And my beef with the deck is that the women who are portrayed in the Guardian age group, so it's like, say, 45 to 60 or so, all look like they're 25. And I thought, great idea. You're adding in this extra category that I think is quite needed, and I'm really pleased to see, but you didn't make them look like the age that you're saying in the guidebook they are. So that's my beef. However, I do think this deck, and you can see in the crones look like crones. And I like that as a crone myself. I like being represented, as we say, representation matters, right? I think the artwork is beautiful. I will say that I feel like the purpose, or one of the purposes of this deck, is to empower women, we can feel empowered by the images in this deck. And most of the images are all kind of conventionally pretty, thin, tall, and kind of skewing young, except for the crones. Everybody looks pretty young. This I love. This is called Radical Self-Acceptance, and this woman has had a mastectomy. I love that they've included that in the deck. I mean, I'm sad that it's necessary, but yeah. So this is a beautiful deck. I love, there's several cards that have all ages of women on them. This one is Strength and Vulnerability, which I think is gorgeous. Another beautiful crone image. This is about wounds. We are not our wounds. We have wounds, but we aren't our wounds. So, beautiful deck, beautiful artwork. I wish they had done a better job with the imagery, but the guidebook has some good points, and overall, I did use this deck quite a bit, and I got some good, powerful readings from it. I tend to just pull one card when I use this deck. All right, next up is the Tulku Oracle. This comes in a beautiful box. The cardstock is gorgeous. The book is fantastic. It's by Carla Rafoxo, and she has a line of amulets. So she had made these amulets, and then somehow that, clicked in her brain, and she spent 10 years working on transforming the images of the amulets, which she sells as jewelry, into an oracle deck. And I just want to read you about what Tulku means. So she says, many Western readers may find themselves wondering about the unusual name of this oracle deck. First, a definition. Tulku is a Tibetan word. Tul means to manifest or emanate, and ku is an honorific term for form or body. So it literally means a form that manifests or emanates. It is often used to describe reincarnate lamas in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. Tulku is the form or the body aspect of Buddha that manifests for the benefit of others. So that's what the word means. And let me just show you some of the images. Beautiful, like a metallic, like chocolatey image. The artwork is stunning, bright. It is somewhat abstract. There's Tibetan concepts, Hindu concepts expressed, Buddhist concepts expressed. There are animals, there are deities, there are, as I said, concepts. It's just a beautiful deck. And again, it's one that I tend to just pull one card at a time from. Just gorgeous. The cardstock is delightful. It's really a very high quality indie deck, and I like it quite a bit. Next up is the Herbal Astrology Oracle. And I am an herbalist, and I was really looking forward to getting this deck, and it hasn't disappointed me. It's by Adriana Ayales, and she owns an herbal company called Anima Mundi, and I believe it's in Brooklyn. You can go online and buy herbal products from her. And she created this beautiful deck. Really has some unusual, not just your average ordinary herbs. Really, look at this. Oh, look at the motherwort. Oh. So motherwort is Leonaris cardiaca, so literally lion-hearted. And it is a cardiac herb. It's also a nervine. I love that dandelion is called the wounded healer. I'm trying to read this backwards. Passion flower, ayahuasca. So there are some psychedelic herbs, dragon's blood. So there's some magical herbs. There's also some poisonous herbs, not chamomile, St. John's wort, tulsi, one of my favorite herbs. It's just the artwork is beautiful. The herbs included are gorgeous. I love the keywords that she has chosen to go along with the herbs. I love the selection of herbs. I love the artwork, and the guidebook is wonderful. So for each herb, for each card or each herb, there's like 3 pages. So she has like she does include the Latin binomial, which is an herbalist. I'm happy to see that. She talks about the herbs, she talks about the card, and then she gives some guidance for each of the herbs. And again, this is a deck that I've tried to do readings with, multiple cards, and I find that just pulling one card at a time really, really works better. The 4th Oracle deck is this one, Wisdom of the Divine Feminine, and I do also have the other one. I think it's called Wisdom of the Shadow, of the Divine Shadow. I think just Shadow. But this one I used much more and kind of connected with much more. So this is by a duo created by, let's see if I can get the names here. Let's see. I'm sorry. So it's Jenny Hahn and Jessica Ricchetti. And Jessica is the artist and Jenny is the creator. More beautiful artwork. I like the keywords on here. Oh, look at that, sovereignty. This is beautiful. This I find to be more empowering in its imagery than the Lantern One's imagery. It's gorgeous. Compassion. Look at that. I love that card. One of my favorite cards in the deck. Mystery. Trust. Community. It's just a lovely, lovely deck. And again, I tend to just pull one card at a time and leave that out on my altar. All right, so those are 4 of my 5 oracles. Next up, I'm going to do tarot. So I did this year and last year as well. I don't want to call it a challenge. It's kind of a project with Esther at Mindful Tarot. She's done this now 2 years in a row, this project that she calls Drop 'em 78. And we start on October 15th because from October 15th to December 31st, there's 78 days left in the year. And you pick a deck to work with, and you commit yourself to working with just one deck for those 78 days. And at first it's not bad, but the last couple weeks I'm like, okay, I'm ready to play with other decks. And especially because we're in December and I tend to, get decks new decks in at that time of year. And I'm like, oh, I want to play with my new decks, but I make this commitment. So anyway, in September, I took out 5, I kind of narrowed my choices down to 5 decks. I wasn't sure which one I was going to pick, and I did narrow it to 5. So for the entire month of December, I just used 5 decks. And these 4 decks, all 5 of them are the 5 decks that were my 5 choices. And that's why they're in this top group of decks for 2022, because I use them a lot. I thought about them a lot. And of course, especially the one that I ended up choosing. So this is the Super Lunaris Tarot. I thought I'd pull out the aces. Oops. Sorry about that. Upside down. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. I love this. I love the imagery. It's inclusive. I think that 6 of Swords is one of my favorite cards anyway, but oh my goodness. Fool. It's just this Queen of Cups. It's just gorgeous. I love. You can see there's some elders. Yay. And look at this 2 of Cups. Man, that is something. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. And I'm really surprised that I don't see more people using it more often. I just love it. It is, as you can see, Rider-Waite Smith, really readable. And I just love this deck, and I use it a lot, and it is one of my top decks of 2022. Next is an old standard of mine that anyone who's watched my channel knows and won't be surprised to see. This is the Tarot de Saint Croix by Lisa de Saint Croix. And this is the most recent, the second edition. It's borderless. She had terracotta borders on her first one, which I don't know why some people objected to and said it made them not want to use the deck. I had no problem with it. I used the heck out of that deck, and it's really beat up. But I thought I would show you the borderless one. And I have put this back in order after it didn't make the cut as my deck for Drop 'em 78. But this is a deck that I am really familiar with, that I really love, that really gives great readings and honest answers, and, you know, it doesn't pull any punches. And again, it's a deck that is dear to my heart, and a deck that I have used a lot and that I return to often. I actually have the print of the World card. So that is the Tarot de Saint Croix. This is a deck that's somewhat new to me. It came into my collection in 2022, but it wasn't published in 2022. A friend of mine actually gifted this to me, and it's the Star Seeker by Nikki Ferrata. Again, I'm going to show you the majors. I put them back in order. I love the color palette. Again, a beautiful box, a lovely guidebook. This is rose petal, which I know some people don't like, but I don't have any trouble shuffling this deck, and I have small hands. I think it's gorgeous. It really speaks to me. Again, it's a Rider-Waite-Smith based deck. Some of the cards are a little dark. Oh God, I love that moon. Beautiful moon card. Because for me, the moon is the sacred feminine or divine feminine, and that really is evocative of that concept to me. The sun, I think, is beautiful. Judgment and the world, and then she has an extra major card called the womb. So that is the Star Seeker. And then the other deck that was in the running for my Drop 'em 78 is this one, the Delta Enduring Tarot by Egan. And I love this deck. Oh, I am sorry it's out of print, and I wish they would reprint it, because every time I show it, people say they want it. They ask me if I'll sell it. I won't sell it. I love this deck. So the suits are moths, and this is based on the Mississippi Delta culture. So moths, cast iron pans, cast iron, oysters, and oaks. And the quartz are, look, well, you know, as someone who has opened a lot of oysters, thankfully I've never done that with the knife, but I've had some good injuries. So the court cards are Novice, Warrior, Seer, and Sage. And then there's these extra cards, which I don't put in, but I think are interesting. And let me just go through these quickly. So here are the majors. I just love this artwork. It's a very progressive minded, one of my all-time favorite Hierophants. Look at that. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? Love that. Lovers. Chariot is great. It's just a great deck. Love the Hermit. And I think this is my all-time favorite Justice card. I just love it. Hanged One, Hanged Man. Oh, fabulous. Devil card. And instead of the Tower, it's the Levy. So this is a long-standing favorite of mine, but I did use it a lot in 2022. So it is one of my top 10. And now for my top Oracle deck of, 2022. And this is a deck that will probably always be in my top 10 because I use it every day. And that is the Living Wheel Astrology cards by the lovely and delightful Patrick Fogarty. Before the pandemic, I traveled at least once or 1 week or 2 weeks a month for my job, and this deck came with me all the time, and you can see it's really beat up. The box is really beat up. So what I do is every day on my altar I pull the sun card out, and I pull the sign that the sun is in. And then every time the wheel turns, there's 8 seasonal cards, which I'm going to show you. Right now we're in the winter. This is the solstice, winter solstice card. So I pull the earth, and this is the sign or the season. I have that. And then I have the moon. And we are in a new moon right now. So these are the seasonal cards. And Patrick does not live that far away from me. He lives, I don't know, about maybe three or 4 hours north of me in Maine. I'm in Massachusetts. And I've been to Bar Harbor where he lives. And I've seen where he painted these gorgeous seasonal cards in Acadia National Park. And so I just have such a connection and a fondness for those beautiful seasonal cards. The artwork is beautiful. It's got planets, houses, moon phases, the sun signs, nodes, and the seasonal cards. It's just a delightful deck, and as I said, I use it every day. So it's probably always going to be in my top 10 decks. And then for my top Oracle deck, it's the Next World Tarot. This is the pocket edition. I also have the larger ones, but they're really, really shiny. And when you put them on the video, it's hard to see them. So this was the deck that was my Drop 'em 78. So starting October 15th through December 31st, this was the deck. I pulled one card a day for 78 days. Esther gives us the order in which to pull them, and everyone that's participating pulls the cards in that same order, and we post on her Facebook page. So these are just some of the cards that I really love from this deck. It's an incredible deck, and I've used this deck a lot. I didn't think that I was going to, I love that Ace of Swords. I didn't think I was going to learn as much or become really super aware of more things about this deck. I love that High Priestess. But I did. And one of the things that I really noticed, so the deck is by Christy Searoad. And one of the things I really noticed about this deck, love that Lovers. Instead of the Hierophant, we have the Messenger. Was she's talking about how we need to create a next world, because the world that we're living in now, this colonial, capitalist, misogynist, homophobic, xenophobic, blah, blah, blah world, isn't working for the vast majority of people. And so we need to create the next world. And the deck is all about creating the next world. And she talks a real lot about healing and how much healing we all need to do as we move from this current reality into the next world. And it really spoke to me and was really, really hit my heart and soul and was really powerful. So I really recommend, if you've ever thought about getting that deck, to get it and work with it. It's a fabulous deck. So those are my top 10 Tarot 22. I picked, as I said, 5 Oracle and 5 Tarot. So thank you, Lisa. This was a fun tag. I really enjoyed it, and I'm enjoying watching other folks' VRs. So peace be with you.